I finally replayed Tomb Raider, the 2013 reboot. And what surprised me most wasn't that it just held up, but that it's actually kind of refreshing. This game is a lot of fun. It wasn't a nostalgic revisit for me. I barely played the game back in the day. So in a lot of ways, this was my first real playthrough. The game goes on sale all the time. I finally picked up the collection on Steam, and I really think this game deserves a second chance. It's not perfect. It's definitely a product of its time. But that's also why I found it so interesting to revisit. It's focused, it's cinematic, and it's gritty in that early 2010s way. And more than anything, it's just a solid single-player adventure game. The kind of thing we don't see enough of anymore. What stood out to me right away? How well the opening still works. It's a cold open that just goes. Very little hand-holding, some tutorials, but you're really just thrown into the chaos. You're disoriented like Lara and trying to survive. The whole shipwreck sequence, the escape from the cave, the torchlight reflecting off of wet walls, it still feels intense. And cinematic, but not in a watch this movie kind of way. It's cinematic in how it moves from scene to scene and moment to moment with energy. And I don't just mean flashy kind of cutscenes. The pacing, the stakes, and the visual storytelling all grab you without being too in your face. It actually made me miss when games opened like this. It sets the tone for Lara's journey in a way that still feels sharp here, even in 2025, and this game looks great on PC. It's 12 years old. That's ridiculous, but it plays really well, and like I said, visuals have held up. So much of the gameplay surprised me in a good way, especially the traversal. Climbing, swinging, sliding, jumping, it all has a flow that feels very dialed. There's a good balance between the movement and the exploration. I love the Uncharted series. Uncharted 2 is one of my favorite of all times, and obviously, this being that kind of end of 360 right into the Xbox One era, there were plenty of comparisons, right, for the Uncharted stuff. I think I liked the way Tomb Raider handled it a little bit more. You're not stuck, at least in this game, in endless combat zones or forced to really backtrack through barren open spaces. You're just moving, and the game keeps things interesting as you go. Sure, there's some side content and stuff if you want to fast travel, but for the most part, you move from start to finish. The upgrade system holds up well. You unlock new gear at a pretty steady pace. Rope arrows and upgrades to your weapons, climbing axes, and all of them really feel like they matter. They augment the gameplay and just push the sandbox a little bit further. They're not just stat bumps, they open new paths, giving you new tools to mess around with in that world. The loop of getting stronger and revisiting old areas, it still works. And the combat, well, it's fine. It's not revolutionary, but it's better than I remembered. The bow is fun, the guns feel punchy, you have enough tools to keep the enemy variety pretty fun to deal with for the most part, and I found myself enjoying how much agency I had. You could sneak, you could go loud, you could shoot explosives at everything. It's not super deep, but it is satisfying, and sometimes that's just good enough. If there's one major thing that really defines this version of Tomb Raider, it's the tone. The game is so gritty, like blood and mud and fire and rain. Everything is broken or wet or on fire, or all three. And while it might sound a little exhausting, it gives the game this distinct vibe. It feels like that PS3 360 era at the end, when games were embracing that edgier tone, this more grounded kind of reboot of the classic franchise. I think it works here. Some of it feels a little dated, but this is Lara's first big trial by fire. She's not an action hero just yet, and this game leans into survival. Scavenging for gear, patching yourself up, making do with what you have, and you feel like you're earning every single step. And some of the tone is over the top, gets dramatic, but it adds to the charm. It's like a survival action B-movie in the best way. It's unapologetically dramatic, but always moving forward. What I didn't expect to enjoy as much as I did were the puzzle tombs. They're optional. They're off the beaten path a little bit, and they're not very long, but genuinely pretty fun. They remind you that Tomb Raider used to be about solving things, not just shooting and action. And the puzzles here strike a really nice balance. They're clever without being too frustrating, and you walk away feeling smart and not annoyed. And when you zoom out, this rhythm of combat, platforming, traversal, puzzle, story, it all just kind of works. The game isn't trying to blow your mind, it's just trying to give you a good time, and that's exactly what it does. The more I played, the more I kept thinking, we really don't get many games like this anymore. I don't mean it in the things used to be better in my day. Modern games have evolved and improved a lot of stuff, but not always. So many of the modern things are trying to just be huge and open worlds with endless quest markers and skill trees that, well, they're more like spreadsheets, and games as a service with endgame grind. Tomb Raider 2013 isn't interested in any of that. It's a small, self-contained adventure. You can wrap up the story in about a dozen hours or less, and you really feel like you went on an actual adventure, and then just move on, no strings attached. It's a summer blockbuster kind of game. And that makes it really appealing in 2025 or beyond, especially if you're someone who doesn't have a lot of time, or if you're just burnt out on some of the open world bloat lately, or if you just need a game that respects your time while giving you some great spectacle moments. And for me, that was this game. These are perfect in my book. I really like these. And that's really what I continue to think about. Not just how much I enjoyed the game, because I'm already an hour or two into Rise of the Tomb Raider. I'm fully in, I'm hooked. But I keep thinking about how much I miss games like this. Linear, focused, polished, but not bloated. Tomb Raider feels like the kind of game that studios don't greenlight very often anymore, unless it's tied to a big franchise or has a live service component, and that's a shame. Because games like these absolutely still work. They're still fun, they still have value, and it got me thinking about how many other titles from this era, maybe they still hold up if we give them a second shot. Games that we skipped or bounced off of, games that, well, we didn't try, maybe because we were busy with whatever was new at the time. I never played this back in the day, and I totally am bummed I missed out on it, but also stoked because this is like $10 for the trilogy on Steam, pretty much every seasonal sale. So if you know of any games like this, either from this era or before or even after, let me know. I'm definitely interested in these titles. So yeah, if you've never played Tomb Raider 2013, maybe you bounced off of it like I did, I honestly think it's worth another look. It's not trying to be some crazy masterpiece. It's just trying to be a darn good adventure game. A fun game. And in a sea of games that try to do everything, it's kind of nice to have one that's focused. It's a bit of a breath of fresh air. Anyway, I just wanted to share that. Let me know if you've played it recently or if it's sitting in your backlog. This one absolutely surprised me, and hopefully it surprises you as well. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you again very soon.